3. Tanya Chaudhary, your camera is not on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after a long time, you are able to see others also.
Yes, sir.
So let us continue with this online education for today. Shall we start? Everybody has copy and pen? Everybody has copy and pen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Along with me, until and unless you don't do it, you will not learn, and you, after a few classes, you will stop attending the class. Shall we start? Okay, note down the question. Compute machine hour rate. From the following particulars. Cost of machine rupees 10,000. Estimated life of machine 10 years. Estimated scrap value rupees 1,000. Yearly working hours 50 weeks of 44 hours per week, of which maintenance is expected to take up to 200 hours. The setting up time is estimated at 5% of the total productive time. And no power is necessary for maintenance and setting up. Once you have noted, let me know.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Now should I scroll up?
Yes, sir.
Anyone who has not noted till now?
Sir, 1 minute.
Okay. So some of the items that come under machine expenses are your depreciation. Another one is your maintenance. And in this question, we have to compute maintenance, and also some of the other machine expenses are the repair. So we need to compute from this information only.
Okay, sir, done.
Okay. Note down second point. The machine used 16 units of power per hour at 10 paisa per unit. The machine used 16 units of power per hour at 10 paisa per unit. So what would be your power consumed in 1 hour?
10 paisa.
No. 10 paisa per unit. You are consuming power per hour is 16 units. So 16 into 10.
1.60 paisa.
160.
160.
Yes.
1 rupee 60 paisa.
Okay. The third information. Chemical required weekly. Rupees 20. Fourth. The estimated cost of maintenance is rupees 1200 per annum. Next, two operators. Operators are those people who control the machine. Two operators control the machine together with 6 other identical machines in the shop. Their combined weekly wages are rupees 140. Sixth, departmental overhead allocated to this machine amount to rupees 2000 per annum. Departmental overheads allocated to this machine amount to rupees 2000 per annum. Insurance of machine is 1% per annum. Next is repairs of machine are expected 50% of depreciation. So first we have to calculate depreciation, then we have to calculate repair on that depreciation. Now how we are going to calculate depreciation? In this question you can see that cost of the machine is rupees 10,000, scrap value is 1,000. So 10,000 minus 1,000. Now divided by your
Expected years.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years into 2,000. First of all, you read the question once again, everybody. Then only we will be moving ahead. You read the question once again so that you know all the things that are under consideration. We are going to compute machine hour rate. And for that computation, we are going to compute standing charges and machine expenses. Under standing charges, some of the expenses which is whether you operate your machine or not, these expenses are always there. For example, your wages of operator, whether you run your machine or not, you have to pay the wages. Similarly, getting your machine insured, again this is the standing charge. Similarly, once you know the standing charge, you can compute it on hour basis, and once you know hourly basis, then we can take that amount into computation of our machine hour rate. Once we are over with our standing charges, next we need to compute machine expenses. In machine expenses, depreciation is there, then your repair is there, maintenance is there, and in this question there is weekly chemical expenses also. So that is also there in machine expenses, and then at last is your power consumption. So these are some of the items that we need to compute. So let us start computing it. First of all, we need to know working hours. You make a note somewhere so that you know how much working hours are there. So your working hours, you see in the question that we arrive at 2,000 is our working hours. How do we compute? Yearly working hours 50 weeks into 44 hours. And then from that, we are subtracting. What is this 200?
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yes, very good. So maintenance so we come to know what is our working hour. Now let us compute. Computation of machine hour rate. You draw a column. So first, in this you write particulars. We can also make sub column in this. We can make sub column, 2 columns in this. So you make one more column. One would be on the basis of per hour, and since we have information per year, so we need to compute standing charges from per year basis, then we can compute it per hour. So let us start with standing charges. Standing standing charges. So first is your, what should we take? Overheads. Are there any overheads? You see in the question? Is there any overheads?
So departmental overheads.
Which point?
So 6.
Six.
6th point. So see, in 6th point, departmental overheads allocated to this machine amount to 2000 per annum. So this is per annum, not we have to compute to per hour. That we can do once we know the hourly, once we know annual charges, then we can divide it by total, that is your machine working hour. Our machine working hour we have computed to rupees, to how much hour? 2000 hours. So once we know the yearly charges of all this, then we can divide it by 2000, and after dividing it by 2000 we can come to know our per hour charges. So let us start with departmental overheads. So this is your $2,000. Then next standing charge is your wage of operators. So how many operators are there? 2 operators. You see point number 5. 2 operators control the machine together with 6 other identical machine in the shop. Their combined weekly wage are rupees 140. So wages is given in week wise, and also your working hour is, so you compute it for year basis. Yearly, how many weeks are there? Yearly working hour, see point number 1. You see yearly working hour is 50 weeks. So 140 into 50 weeks. Is it okay? We have to compute year wise, and then 140 into 50 we divided by 7. What we get is wage of operator yearly wise, we get rupees 1000. Next is your insurance of machine. Now see point number 7. It says that insurance of machine is 1% per annum. Now 1% of what? 1% of the cost. So machine cost is rupees 10,000 and we have to take 1% of that. So yearly our insurance is rupees 100. You added up all these, you get 3,100. These are your yearly expenses. Now you have to compute per hour. So compute standing charges per hour. Standing charges per hour. How do you compute? You take this 3,100 divided by your working hours. Working hours we have computed 2,000 working hours. So it will amount to, you can use your calculator.
1.55.
3,100 divided by 2,000. 1.55. Now this 1.55 you write down under per hour. 1.55. Now let us move further. Next is we are going to compute machine expenses. Machine expenses. So first one is your depreciation. So how do we calculate depreciation? In previous class, I have already told cost of the machine minus
Scrap value.
scrap value divided by
Estimated life.
divided by
Estimated life.
estimated life is 10,000. 10 years. 10 years into yearly working hour is your 2,000. Is it clear? Anybody? 2,000 is your working hours, 10 is your years, and depreciation. You compute cost of the machine minus scrap value upon estimated life. So you compute that and you will get 0. Any one of you compute?
Point 45.
0.45.
45.
You write this 0.45 under this column. Clear? Now next is your maintenance. So again, same way. $1,200 divided by working hours, you will get 0.60. So this is your maintenance. Then is your, after maintenance, you have got repair. See in the question, it is given repair of machine are expected 50% of depreciation. So you take 50% of depreciation. Depreciation 0.5 you take 50% of that, it comes out to 0.225. Next is your chemical. So similarly, chemical required weekly is 20. So in a week, so you compute it according to what would be required in a year and then divided by hourly total hours working life, you will get 0.50. This is your chemical required. Next is your power. So how much power is being consumed? Power consumption is
60 minutes of power per hour at 10%.
yes. Then what? You have to compute it per hour total cost on the machine. 16 into 0.10 into 1900 divided by 2000 and you get 1.52. So your machine hour rate, you added up all this 0.45. So 5, this comes 5, then 5, 2, 6, 5, 2, 6, 4, and this comes to 4, and then 8, and then carry 3, that makes it equal to 4.845. So this is your machine hour rate, 4.845. To those who have not noted it down, you can take a screenshot of this from your mobile or from laptop, whatever you are working. Computation of machine hour rate. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
That's all for today. Then in next class, we will start with cost sheet. Now in cost sheet, what we derive at the total cost of the product, and in that we come to know what is prime cost. So prime cost, when I use the word prime cost, that means it includes direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. So if anything that is of direct in nature, that denotes prime cost. Once we add up overheads into that prime cost, we arrive at work cost. Then after arriving at work cost, we add administrative expenses. That comes to office cost. And in office cost, we add up selling and distribution charges, we get total cost. And from that total cost, we add up profit, and what we generate is sales. So in cost sheet, we show all these items separately and show that how much cost is coming up and at what price we are selling it, what profit we are making it. Suppose whatever cost is there, we have to make profit of 10%. So we add up that 10% and at that price we need to sell it. So this is the way we arrive at pricing of the product. Especially such kind of pricing is especially used in your, let us take example nowadays, pharma companies. Now pharma companies, they have to compute the cost of tablet once they develop vaccine for your COVID, how they are going to calculate the cost of that tablet. So through this cost sheet only, we will be able to prepare the cost and the profit into that, and then we arrive at selling price. So in next class, we would be dealing more with a cost sheet. So if you can read it, you read it. If you cannot, just follow the class. And Unnati, you just tell others also to join this class, those who are not able to do that.
Okay, sir.
You have the list, class list.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You just circulate or you just mail everyone that you join this link.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so should
Yes,
we
sir.
end up this class? Thank you very much for today. If we have any
Thank you,
questions,
sir.
you can ask.
Thank you, sir.
If you have any question, you can ask, then else we can exit.
Sir,
Okay,
I
thank
have a
you.
question. Sir, I have a question.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Sir, can you explain ये overhead क्या होता है? Sir, overhead, departmental overhead जैसे लिखा है.
Departmental overheads. So
Yes, sir.
in this class, once we start with cost sheet, in that also we can get more view what is overhead. Clear?
ठीक. Thank you, sir.
Apart from direct expenses, there are other expenses. We call it overhead. More clarity would come in next class.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.